In the beginning, the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and been widely regarded as a bad move.
This is an editing special today. This is the magic of editing. That having been said, we're going to talk about cover songs later. Cover songs that you may not have known were cover songs. That's Paul Schultz. I'm Steve Benson. This is the Don't Panic Radio Show. So sit back, relax, and ignore the news because nothing you're about to hear is true.
Especially assassination attempts.
We're going to do about 5 minutes on the assassination, the so-called apparent assassination attempt. So if you want to skip ahead, plan on about 5 minutes. So the last time we talked, we were reacting to the debate, and that was however long ago that was. And we talked about
like
how
3 days ago, I think,
what our predictions were if nothing else happens. And we're like, the one thing we've learned is anything can happen at any time. Sure enough, citizen notifications go off the other day. Shots fired near Trump at one of Trump's golf courses. And it was like, all right, what does this mean? And we find out, and it's just funny because every single headline, I don't care which outlet you're talking about, says apparent apparent assassination attempt. Come to find out, for those of you who haven't heard, some guy with a rifle hid in the woods at one of Trump's golf courses for like 12 hours overnight. Trump's playing golf. The Secret Service does what the Secret Service does. They're out ahead of him, sweeping around, looking around the grounds to make sure nobody's there trying to kill him. They find the guy. They see his rifle like sticking out of the bushes. What kind of conceal and cover is that? I don't know. But his rifle sticking out of the bushes or something. So they start shooting at him and the guy runs and they catch him up the road. He was nowhere near Trump. He was not in line of sight. The guy never fired his weapon. That's why it's like apparent assassination attempt. It's an assassination attempt as if I had shown up somewhere with a rifle near one of Trump's rallies. It's like assassination attempt.
Yeah, yes. That's about as close as it could be.
Yes, this guy was planning on trying to assassinate Trump, but he didn't do a very good job. And the Secret Service did their job, caught the guy, and there was never any danger to the former president. It just goes to show you, like, the Daily Show was like, was making, they're like the first assassination attempt. It was like, oh my God, what's going on? We're all like, this really impacts all of us because this is like political violence and everything. And this
worried.
And this time we hear about it and it's like, oh, assassination attempt. Oh, okay. What else is going on? Not to make light. Well, yeah, to make light.
Yeah, I think that's the point.
Yeah. So that's happening.
These headlines, man, it's like they don't know what to. Like they've given up. It's like, call it something and get it out there. We got to get something because something's going to happen in 10 minutes. Yeah, nobody's going to remember this tomorrow anyway. No
kidding.
And then what do we?
That does go to show too, though, that they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating people's pets. That shows how much legs that thing has. Because the assassination attempt is kind of like, in other news, there was another assassination attempt. Anyway, back to the pets and the cats and the.
It's like the BBC covering American news because they're very passive about it. They'll just, in other news, there was an assassination attempt, and now onto the dog show at Westminster Abbey. They're that blasé about it. So
yeah.
Maybe they're borrowing a cue from the BBC, or we are.
And I don't think JD Vance has it in him to not talk about things that will make him look like a clown. I just like they could have this. there have been so many opportunities, and Nate Silver, he's the guy that did 538. He's all about modeling and predicting who's going to win stuff based on modeling and data. He was like, this one was Trump's to lose, and he went through why. Like why the Republicans and Trump and everybody, this was their election to win or to lose. And they're just blowing it. They're just making mistake after mistake after mistake. Now, Kamala's not helping them by being an actual good candidate. But on their side, like all of these things are like, these are the opportunity to get the middle. Like, I think they're so worried about losing their base that they can't not pander to the base. This is the point where they could definitely grab the middle.
All they've got is their base, and they're like you said, they're too afraid to lose it, not realizing the base is not going to get you into the White House.
Yeah.
What a time.
All right. Thanks for indulging us for a few minutes. We got to do that at this stage of the game, though, because all this stuff's happening. We need our time capsule to go back, 10 years to go back to. Like, what were we thinking?
10 years? We're going to go back in like 3 months.
Remember how naive we were?
Because you remember how long ago 2020 was? That was like 8 years ago.
Remember back? We'll be like, remember back in late September, how naive we were?
It's like that. What was it? In Tropic Thunder, when Jack Black is tied up to the tree and he's like, "You let me. Your mom's a whore." Hey, remember like a long time ago when I said your mom was a whore? Time flies that fast.
Well, there went our monetization.
Well. By the way, if you happen to like these little time capsules that we do, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of them.
So cover songs. I'm fascinated by, and I ran across some cover songs recently that I didn't know were cover songs. And I think it's kind of cool when you hear that something's a cover song and then go back and listen to the original, especially if a cover song has had way more commercial success than the original. And the 2 or 3 that I picked up on today had an interesting common denominator.
Okay.
But let's do one apiece and see where that takes us.
Okay.
Right.
Well, since it was your idea, I'll let you go first.
Okay. All right. This first one, just give a little listen to it. A little fun game I like to play is, if you haven't already looked at the title, if you just listen, can you tell what song this is? And just give it a listen. All right, I think everybody knows that song, but I'll bet almost nobody knew that was a cover.
I honestly didn't until maybe 2 years ago, because I started doing a lot of looking back on the 80s kind of stuff, and then lo and behold, that pops up, on other songs you might like. I'm like, what the hell?
And then you go, okay, for those of you who maybe aren't keeping up, what's it a cover of? Well, here we go.
Tainted love, tainted love. Now I know I've got to run away. I've got want to get away. You don't really want any more from me to make things right. You need someone to hold you tight, and you think love is to pray. But I'm sorry, I don't pray that way. Once I ran to you.
I'm sorry, I don't pray that way. That's got to be, that's a saying somebody needs to get going.
Sorry. I don't pray that way.
Say that. Honey, I don't pray that way.
They're the most English-looking dudes.
Soft Cell. Are they a one-hit wonder? Did they have any other?
As far as I know, in the States, that was their one and only hit.
I'll tell you
Could
what,
be
though.
wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments.
Oh, I see what you did there. Gloria Jones, though, man, I'm gonna put her in my playlist because that's a banger. That's it. I
Yes,
like
it is.
the original way better.
Mm-hmm.
All they did was like set it to 1980s synthesized rock beat, and English looking dudes with their haircuts and fancy leather bracelets dancing around like English dudes. That's all they did.
Yeah. This is, of all the English dudes, you're the most English dude that's ever English duded.
Yeah. So yeah, I like the original better. I gotta say, even though the sugar cell, free cell, soft cell, sugar core history.
Sugar cell. I still like both of them. I'm on. I like both of them. But yeah, that the original is a banger, and how we did not know is one of like music's best kept secrets.
Yep. Hi, Eli. We're doing cover songs, like we're talking about songs that we didn't realize were cover songs,
Oh, okay.
or songs that people
Man Who
don't.
Sold the World.
Man Who
is the
Sold the
one that
World.
people don't know.
Yeah,
I was gonna
that's a
mention
good
that one, but then I couldn't figure out which one is. Do you think the Nirvana version is more well known than the Bowie version?
I'm gonna say they're 50-50, to be honest, because The Man Who Sold the World isn't exactly like a colossal Bowie hit, but Bowie fans know it.
Yeah.
And the Nirvana song, which
So you froze up in the middle of saying something about the Nirvana version.
the Nirvana version kills.
7 sound.
So far, I'm noticing a theme. Here, let's see if yours conforms to the theme. Yep.
I think I know what that theme is.
I mean, what's more rock and roll than stealing black people's music?
You are correct, sir.
There's a certain girl I've been after a long
Oh.
time.
What's her name?
Can't tell you. I can't reveal her name until I get her. What's her name? Can't tell you. I try
Eli
time
gets a
and
pass.
time again.
Yes, he does.
It's nothing but friend. There's a certain girl I've been after a long time. What's her name? Can't tell you. There's a certain chick I've been sweet on since I met her. What's her name? Can't tell you. Don't ask me her name, I won't reveal it until I get her. What's her name? Can't tell you.
That's good.
Yeah, that I wasn't even aware that was a cover until one day. Back in the '80s, and I found it on. I was reading the album credits, so I had to run to the library. Of course, library ain't gonna have no Ernie K dough, and that took a while for me to find the original.
Well, there's a certain girl I've been in love with a long, long time. What's her name?
What's her name?
I can't reveal her name until
You might not know this
she's
about your dad,
mine.
Eli, but this was one of your dad's favorite songs when we were younger.
I love that
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Oh, but I have to ask. So we're recording. Do you want to not be on the show? Be on the show? What do you want to do?
Well, I was about to leave, but if I'm already in the show, I don't mind.
Okay.
Change the channel, Marge.
Your choice got me thinking. I'm like, wait a minute. I know there's one he probably hasn't heard, so I'll send you that one. But interestingly enough, my original one that I was going to send you was a Zevon song too. But we'll let that go for now. We'll do that for another show.
All right. Yeah, that works. The other one, I'm not gonna play it because we'll just talk about it. And it is
Okay.
it's one that I think a lot of people already know about. Not when it was famous and popular, but people learned that
Mm-hmm.
Nothing Compares to You was a song originally written by Prince and performed by
Yeah.
Prince.
Mm-hmm.
And Sinead O'Connor picked it up and it went like mega huge.
Made it her own, and
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
She did a great job with that song.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I didn't know, I saw an interview with Prince where I assume he liked it. But what I always thought was, because people will go, Prince wrote that song. And what I assumed was, well, he wrote the song for her. No, he wrote the song, performed the song, released the song. And because he was at that time part of whatever the thing is where your music gets licensed, like when Sinead O'Connor or whoever, was helping her, wanted to record that song, all they had to do is get permission through this association or through this organization. They didn't have to ask Prince, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of artists will go ask the original artist. Like Weird Al Yankovic's famous for that. He goes to the original artist, even though he doesn't have. With him, it's even more different because it's parody, and he can do whatever he wants. But he wants the artist to want him to do it, right? And there are great stories about Weird Al Yankovic's parody and going to the artist and trying to get their permission to do it or get their blessing. But yeah, Sinead O'Connor's people, nobody went to Prince and said, "Are you okay with us doing this?" They didn't have to legally. They just had to go to this organization of which he was a part. Now, during the interview, they didn't talk about, I didn't see where he reacted to whether he liked it or not. How could you not like that version? I mean, if I'd written that song, of course, I'm not Prince. I've never been Prince. I'll probably never be Prince. I mean, if I work really hard and put my mind to it, maybe, but I probably won't be.
And famously, they didn't get along.
Oh, they didn't? I didn't realize it.
No, there's horror stories about the two of them interacting with each other. I think it has something to do with the fact that she didn't want to fall into his camp, and also kind of like, okay, when Cash covered "Hurt," Trent Reznor, when he first heard he wanted to cover that song, he's like he was kind of against it. He couldn't imagine what it was going to sound like, but upon hearing it, relented that it's the better version of the song.
Oh wow, yeah.
I think the opposite happened with Prince and Sinead O'Connor, in that Prince had too much ego to admit it was the better version of that song. I think that probably played into it. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments.
You know who I would love to comment on that? And I may send a link to him and say, you got to listen to this, skip to, whatever, is Leslie White.
Yeah. Well, he probably listens to the show or watches the show.
That's true. Yeah. I hope he listens while he's driving and not watch. But
well, you can you can listen on your phone while it's laying there on your seat,
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Truckers.
I was getting a kick out of people. Oh no. I don't watch videos. We talk, right? You could literally just listen to it. We're not well, except for this episode, we're not dancing.
Oh yeah, we dance in this episode. If you didn't catch that, you got to go back and look.
Yes, yeah.
We were doing my best to do the.
Yeah, you were doing the Trump.
Yeah.
There goes our monetization.
Yeah, right. Hey.
Again.
Yeah, that Johnny Cash version of "Hurt" was something. That was really something, and the video was. Now is that Rick Rubin? Is that guy's name that produced?
Yes.
Johnny Cash.
The last 4 or 5 of his albums. Yes.
Dude knows how to make hits, right? Rick Rubin. Yep. We could do a show on Rick Rubin, but I heard an interview with Rick Rubin, and I was like, this guy's kind of. I don't know. There's got to be more to him than just some genius that knows how to make hits. hits. Because I did not like him. He was not likable to me. He's got this metaphysical thing to him, like very magical thinking kind of guy. And he was kind of getting into like that's how he has been so successful. Like, and I'm like, no, maybe you just know how to make hits. I mean, that's okay too. It's like James Cameron doesn't need to think he's good at coming up with stories. He's really, really good at making a movie that makes $1 billion, right?
Yes.
That doesn't mean you're good at every aspect of it. So like with Rick Rubin, it's like, you know how to coach somebody and how to work with somebody to make a hit. You don't need to think you're some sort of magical divine being. You're just like, you're really good at this one thing, you know?
Yeah. Really good at it.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. That was awesome. that Johnny Cash one with all the covers. And you can't talk about covers without talking about Weezer, right? That they've done, what is it, 2 albums now or 1? Just nothing but covers. The only problem I have with Weezer's covers is they sound almost too much like the original. It's like, put your own spin on it, you know?
See, and that's what I like. And you and I have talked about that in previous iterations of this show, is how if you're because I believe we did a cover song episode like 7 years ago.
Okay.
But make it your own. Don't just verbatim make it your own. It's like when you listen to, when Van Halen put out their second album, it was all covers, which was a smart move on their part, because typically the sophomore jinx on albums, they don't do as well, they don't sound as well, because you put everything you have into that first album, then the second album comes out and you're like, what do we do? Well, on their all cover album, they do a cover of the Kinks' You Really Got Me Now, but before they do that, they're smart enough to throw in this massive Eddie Van Halen guitar solo.
Yeah.
And they do other things too to tweak the song a little bit. But yeah, tweak that song. My absolute favorite cover of all time, and which is why I'm glad we didn't do a favorite cover, episode, is Jimi Hendrix's cover of Dylan's All Along the Watchtower.
Oh yeah. Now
I'm a Dylan fan, but I can't listen to that song. Howsoever, man, 3 notes in on Hendrix's, and I'm in a zone, for the next 5 minutes or 4 minutes. So, make it, make something different, like what Zevon did with Certain Girl. You make it your own.
That having been said, if anybody wants to reach out to make a cover of what we do here, the answer is yes. Always yes. Make it your own. Just make sure you give us credit and royalties.
Preferably with puppets. I would love to see puppets of us.
For Gloria Jones, for Ernie K. Doe, especially for Paul Schultz, I'm Steve Vinson. This has been the Don't Panic Radio Show, and nothing you just heard was true. For Gloria Jones, for Warren Zevon, Rick Rubin, Eddie Van Halen, and especially Jimi Hendrix, that's Paul Schultz. I'm Steve Vinson, and nothing you just heard, Blahibu, Genima Katufa.
Careful, you're going to call one of the old ones.
That was for our Book of the Dead listeners. All right, let me try that again. What screwed me up is I said too many names.